directly to consumers using online platforms. I can see you're not convinced.
Look, these are guys we're talking about here. Our customers are in the store. They're not hanging out on the internet.
Not true.
We need a stronger presence inside the stores. We need to get our message in front of the actual customers, I mean, people who are most likely to make the purchase.
Rick, the facts don't back that up.
Online is totally risky. I mean, you may never reach an actual buyer. In fact, I'm not sure that a digital campaign is even worth consideration.
That's ridiculous. I mean, it's already built into the campaign.
I'm late for my 11 o'clock. We're done here.
Shutterstock Music. 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 Shutterstock Music.
Hey Sharon, so I'm having an issue with one of my team members. She's negative and stubborn and defensive in meetings, and after one I grabbed her in the hallway and let her know that she's, stubborn and defensive, and of course she became stubborn and defensive. So I was wondering how I can talk to her to get around that and not bring up these negative issues.
Yeah, great question, Michael. A couple of things. First, think about where you have the conversation. So probably grabbing her in the hallway is not the best place because it's a public place, people can come by, so she'll feel a little bit vulnerable there. So I'd set a meeting and have it in a private place. And then the second is the way in which you actually share the feedback with her, the request you're making. And I use an approach, would recommend to you an approach called Situation, Behavior, Impact Request, SBIR. So let's go through those 4. First, situation. Describe the situation that you saw this behavior occur in. So in this case, you might say, in the meeting that we had on Tuesday, for instance, that's the situation. Second, describe the behavior in very specific terms. Don't use a label like you were defensive or resistant, because of course they're going to say, no, I wasn't, right? What you want to do is describe the behavior that she exhibited that you interpreted as defensive. Could be other people interpreted it that way too, but you'll get further if you just describe the behavior. If you say something like, when you interrupted Sheila.
Okay.
That's B. I, which is the impact that it had on you, describe the impact it had on you. So for instance, maybe you wanted to hear Sheila's ideas and you didn't because Sheila stopped talking after she interrupted her. And then lastly, R is for request. So make a request about how you would like her to handle these situations in the future. So you might say, in the future, when somebody is saying something, even if it's something you've disagreed with, I'd appreciate it if you would let them continue speaking. So make that request at the end. And if you do those 4 things, it's much easier for people to hear the request.
Well, the first thing about difficult conversations is one of the things that drives them is running assumptions. People run assumptions instead of doing reality checks. So they think that they know what the other person thinks and feels, and they're preparing their response, usually their either defense or attack, based on that assumption. Okay? So the first tip is don't run assumptions. Do a reality check. Find out what's really going on. I worked for a boss once who would take things at face value. And in fact, he heard something from somebody, and he was one of the worst examples of what not to do when you're trying to resolve a conversation or have a difficult conversation with someone. And he had heard that I had done something, and he said, so why did you do such and such? And I was taken aback because he had completely the wrong information. Okay, and I immediately felt attacked. Now, because I used emotional intelligence,
Lloyd? How's it going?
It's fine. I'm recovering from all your meetings. Right now I'm getting back to work here and I have to fly out of here tonight to help out with the Blouth project, so what can I do for you?
Help me out here. This isn't easy. There's a problem with your budget presentation last week, and I'd like to talk to you about it.
Yeah. The problem is we're an oil company that's now trying to become an investment firm. That is the problem. We used to make money on fossil fuel. Now we're trying to make money on money.
I know you were never sold on the business strategy, but it's not going away. All right, because of our outside investments, we need
tighter financial control and more documentation, right? I know the pitch. Can I finish it for you?
Lloyd,
Lloyd, you've been a great guy and all, but until you learn how to crunch those numbers, you're just not gonna fit in because us MBAs, we're the ones that are taking over, so you really need to get on the bus, Lloyd.
Will you just listen to me for 1 minute? Please. I want to talk about your budget proposal from last week. And I want to help you if I can.
I sure didn't expect a Hollywood production. Between the streaming videos and the slideshows, I was ready to run out for popcorn.
Yeah, that's true. Some of the other directors did put on some pretty flashy presentations, some of which were effective, by the way. The real issue here is content. It came across as though you hadn't prepared your numbers.
I did the exact same thing I've been doing since before you came here. I mean, I made a wish list. It's the bottom line that counts.
Lloyd, you had no backup to answer questions. We needed more information to accept your budget.
Look, this is all I know. I know how to get oil out of the ground. Now, that may be before your time, but it used to be important. Now, you come strolling in here and you tell me what? I need to be an accountant before I'm worth anything?
Oh, come on, Lloyd. You're worth a lot. You're one of the best exploration scientists around, and you know that.
Then why don't you do your job and let me do mine? I mean, what more do you want from me?
Not much. Look, it's just that financial planning is becoming more and more important. The bottom line doesn't tell the whole story anymore. You may not be on board with where this company is headed, but it doesn't do you any good to keep resisting. Times are changing, Lloyd, and when you do that, it appears as though you're not interested in coming along.
I can't worry about any of that. I have a lot more important things to worry about than the latest biz school trends. I've seen them come and go before.
I don't want to do battle here. I'm trying to help you. I hope you can see that. Your competency is not the question. The best way to keep other people out of your way is to give them confidence in your financial details. I want you to keep running full speed ahead at what you do best.
I'm a geologist. I've never, ever claimed to be anything else.
You feel like we're asking for too much financial forecasting?
I feel you're asking for a lot more than is worth my time. If I have to sit here and keep crunching numbers, I'll never get anything accomplished. You know, sometimes this isn't even worth it. Maybe I should just go back out into the field and start drilling holes. I don't know.
You know, maybe there's a simple solution, if you're willing to give it a try.
Maybe I could use some help if I'm going to get on top of that forecasting.
If you could do me a favor, maybe get some help with that forecasting in the bargain. I can give you Jim Wilcox for a few weeks. He needs to learn the business, find out what makes this place tick. And honestly, I can't think of anyone better he could learn from than you. You could have him set up all your forecasting and attend to those details before you hand him back.
It sounds like you're trying to teach an old dog new tricks. I just don't want some kid coming in here and poking his nose around and trying to tell me how to do my business.
I can understand that.
I'll take Jim if he sticks to the forecasting and just leaves me with a good system by the time he leaves.
Well, I know he really wants to learn from someone like you.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, though, about learning new tricks. When I took this job, I figured I could play numbers games all day. That is until I had a few meetings with some folks like you and found out I had to learn a little bit about the oil business. I didn't like it, and I am still content to let someone else be the expert, but I'm learning what I have to for my job.
All right. I'll give it a try. And I'll contact Jim as soon as I get back into town.
Good. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Now, I'm going to share my first 6 daily questions, our research on this, and these are 6 questions I would highly recommend that you challenge yourself with every day. Every question begins with the phrase, did I do my best to? Did I do my best to? Why is this so important? Well, it's something that we can take responsibility for. Number one, did I do my best to set clear goals? Rather than saying, did the company set clear goals for me, did I do my best to set clear goals for myself? Number two, did I do my best to make progress toward goal achievement? Rather than saying, did others help me achieve my goals, did I do my best to achieve my own goals? Number three, did I do my best to find meaning? Rather than saying, did the company create meaning, did I do my best to find meaning myself? Number four, did I do my best to be happy? Rather than saying, did somebody else make me happy?
Shutterstock Music. 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 Shutterstock Music.